ancient Sumerians were more than familiar with handbags, or perhaps objects that modern people perceive.
For decades, whenever historians studied ancient Sumerian walls and statues, they kept noticing the same strange object. It was often shown in the hands of gods, kings, and winged figures, but no one could explain what it was or why it appeared so often. For a long time, historians believed the object was only a symbol. They thought it was used to represent religious ideas or sacred rituals, not a real object that people once held or used. That belief changed when archaeologists digging near ancient Sumerian ruins made a surprising discovery. As they carefully removed the soil, they uncovered a solid stone object that matched the carvings exactly. Same shape, same proportions. So what was this object, and how does it change our understanding of the ancient Sumerian civilization? Let's find out. The strange find. Uruk is an ancient city located in southern Iraq, near the Euphrates River. Long ago, it was one of the first great cities where people learned how to write, build large structures, and organize daily life. Because of this, archaeologists believed the land around Uruk could still hold valuable clues about early human history. Earlier surveys revealed signs of buried buildings, tools, and clay tablets hidden beneath the desert sand, making the area a worthwhile exploration target. After choosing the site, archaeologists began digging carefully. For several weeks, the work felt slow and ordinary, with nothing more than small fragments coming out of the ground. No one expected anything unusual, and the dig seemed like many others across southern Iraq. While they continued the routine excavation, their shovel accidentally got stuck on something, producing a sound that did not belong to loose stone or rubble. As the soil was slowly brushed away, a clean outline began to appear. Straight edges, smooth sides, and a curved handle rising from the top. The object lay exactly as it had been placed. There were no signs of damage or accidents. As more of it was revealed, the team realized they were looking at a single piece of worked stone, shaped with balance and intent. Fine patterns covered its surface, etched with steady hands and careful planning. These markings were not random scratches or decoration added later. They were part of the original design. The shape itself caused immediate concern because it was already familiar. The same form appeared in ancient reliefs across Mesopotamia, always shown in the hands of gods, kings, or winged figures. For generations, scholars believed those images to be symbols, nothing more than artistic ideas carved into stone walls. But after seeing this object, that old belief began to fall apart. The object in the ground matched those carvings too closely to ignore. It was real, solid, and far older than most written records. Someone had made it and had placed it here with purpose. But why? To get to the bottom of the truth, researchers began looking at the ancient images that had quietly hinted at this moment all along. The symbol comes alive. Across early Sumerian carvings, this same shape appears again and again, held carefully in one hand, never tilted, never changed. It showed up in temples, on palace walls, and beside figures linked with order and teaching. But that stone object challenged that belief. When its shape was measured and compared, the match was exact. The handle curve, the width, and even the way it was held all aligned with the carvings. This was not a loose artistic choice. It followed a fixed design. That matters because symbols usually change over time. Clothing styles evolve, writing changes, tools improve. Yet this object stayed the same across centuries and across different cultures that shared no direct contact. The figures holding it were also important. They were not shown working or carrying supplies. They were shown guiding, blessing, or standing at important boundaries. This suggested the object had meaning tied to knowledge or order. The material raised more questions. Carving hard stone takes effort and planning. No one would choose it for an object meant to be simple or decorative. It had weight, purpose, and care built into it. By now, the team understood one thing clearly. This object was not art made real. It was something real that art had remembered. And as attention turned from its shape to the marks carved into its surface, the story became even harder to explain. The mysterious marks. As the team began to study the lines cut into the stone, those marks now seemed just as important as the object itself. The surface was covered with clean shapes arranged in calm, repeating patterns. The lines were smooth and deep, showing steady hands and sharp tools. This was not damaged by time or marks left by use. Every line was placed with purpose. As the patterns were traced and recorded, researchers noticed something strange. The spacing stayed even across the surface. Angles are repeated in the same way. Curves followed clear paths that did not drift or cross by mistake. These details showed planning, not decoration. What made this more important was the object's age. Writing, as we know it, appeared later on clay tablets used for trade and record-keeping. Those early signs were simple and practical. The carvings on the stone did not look like that at all. Instead, they looked like a system built on order and balance. Some patterns matched ideas found in basic math, such as rhythm, grouping, and sequence. This suggested the maker understood structure before formal writing existed. Near the base of the object, a short line of symbols stood apart. These marks did not match any known script. Linguists compared them to early forms of writing, but could not place them in a clear time or language. That made one thing clear. This stone was not only shaped with care, it was marked with intent. If these carvings carried meaning, then the object was not finished on the outside alone. It hinted at something carefully protected, which meant the next step had to be taken slowly and with great caution. The locked stone. That sense of caution grew stronger once scans showed the object was not solid inside. Images revealed an empty space at the center, yet the outside showed no crack, seam, or opening. The stone had been shaped from one block and sealed so cleanly that even modern tools struggled to find a weak point. This was unusual for an object believed to be so old. As attention shifted back to the surface, the carvings began to look less decorative. Some lines followed paths that led toward the handle and edges, placed with care and balance. They did not seem random. They seemed guided. The handle itself raised new questions. Small grooves ran along its underside, spaced evenly and aligned with patterns on the body of the stone. When pressure tests were done, sensors detected slight changes in vibration, suggesting the stone responded in a controlled way. There were no signs of wear, no smooth spots from frequent handling, no chips or marks from force. This object had not been used often, if at all. It seemed made to stay closed. That detail mattered. It suggested the stone was not meant to be opened casually. It was built to protect what lay inside, waiting for a time when it could be approached with care. With this understanding, the team paused their work, aware that the object was holding something far more important than stone alone. The knowledge inside, that sense of importance, guided the final stage of study, because the object was no longer seen as a mysterious shape, but as something made with a clear purpose. Careful scans and models showed the inside was not empty by accident. The space followed the same balance seen on the outside, which meant it was planned from the start. Nothing about the object felt random or unfinished. The carvings now made more sense when viewed together. They followed order, grouping, and position, which are early ways humans shared ideas before full writing existed. This suggested the object carried information, not words, but ideas meant to last. Tests on the stone showed it came from an uncommon source. It was not local and not easy to shape. Choosing such material took effort and planning, showing the maker understood durability and time. Researchers also noted the object showed almost no wear. It was not passed around or used often. This supported the idea that it was made to protect something important, not to be handled daily. When all findings were combined, one conclusion stood firm. The object was not a tool, not a symbol, and not art alone. It was a container built to preserve knowledge across generations. This explained why the same shape appeared in ancient carvings. Those images were not myths. They were reminders. The stone had done its job. It carried meaning forward through time, waited patiently beneath the earth, and finally reached a world ready to question what it thought it knew. The stone handbag was not just an ancient object. It was a message sent forward through time, waiting to be understood. If one such object survived, others may still lie hidden. So, what do you think the object was meant to protect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this video, ensure you give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be uploading more crazy stories like this one in the coming weeks. Until then, see ya.